And good morning, Space Engineers. This is Mr. Kassarian, and welcome back. I am back from vacation and ready to do some engineering. Nice! Alright, so I have my Diet Coke, I got my pizza, I'm happy. Let me show you guys what I've been doing. So I was gone on vacation for about a week. I didn't have internet access really, so it was kind of difficult. Can I up my gamma here? No, I still can't up my bloody gamma. Fine. Alright, it's working. Yeah. It's working alright. Right now it's not running very quickly. I can turn that up a little bit though. If I just come over here, hit that, control panel, motors. Let's crank it up to minus 1.84 RPM. And of course it's not working today. Oi. Really? Really? Decided to stop working on me. So let's go over the basics of this while I'm hunting for what the issue is today. It's always something with this machine. So, alright, let's start with the drill head. It's pretty basic. You guys can see pretty much the same as what we've been working on continuously. It's still not moving out, which is a pain in the rear end. It does move, it's just deciding not to today for some reason. Let's just stand here. So, pretty basic drill head. You guys can see the back of it. Let me do this actually. Let's come up here. Let's open this up. Control panel. It forgot its assignments again. That's fine. Shut the drills down. Motors off, on, reverse, off, on. Okay, and it's pulling it back. Nice. Pull it back just a little bit. Alright, control panel, motors off. There we go. So now we should be able to get up into the front of this thing and actually look at the drill head. Okay, it's pretty big. It is a big flippin' drill head. You guys can see exactly how big the drill head actually is on this side. It is absolutely gigantic. Okay. A lot of drills. Oh, that's probably what was jamming it. Come to think of it. So that's an issue that's been cropping up, and it's kind of a pain in the rear end because it's kind of hard to figure out. Yeah, see, it's like these little bits of material for some reason just don't. That's a bug that needs to get fixed. I'm not certain what causes it, but yeah, see, and then it. There we go. You have to fly around it a little bit, figure out where it's actually happening from, where the actual block is in that. Yeah, it's not going to go. But it is a huge drill, and it works, which is the important thing. Yeah, see? Another one like just like this. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. And see, it always crops up right in the middle of some of these sections. You can see it's pretty much equidistant from those 4 drills. So I'm not certain why it does it in some places, it doesn't do it in others, but that's alright. Alright, so let's actually turn the drill head back on. Now let's get down into here. So this used to be open and empty. However, with the new connector system, I've decided to change it up a little bit. We don't need it to be big and empty anymore, and reaching, you know, all the way back to eject out into that machine, because that thing's worthless. What we did instead, if I come down here, we added a gravity generator, and we added this cargo container that's connected forward to here. Okay, nice. We also added these gyroscopes up to the top here. Are you actually? No, steel plates. These gyros are serving to keep the drill stable. One of the things that was happening was this thing was introducing a wicked oscillation. It wasn't really an oscillation, it was kind of a snaking motion. So the drill head would start to pivot back and forth because of the drills. And then what would happen is, this motor right here, this wheel, would basically start acting like a fulcrum. And the amount of force that was being put onto this wheel was just too much, and would snap all these connections in the back. And so what I did was I put those gyroscopes in the hope that this would prevent this head from moving like this, or moving as much, alright? With that in place, it's dampened the motion. Lateral motion, up, down, side, side, as long as it's sliding up and sliding down like a strafing motion, it's fine. These wheels are enough. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a back and forth swinging motion that would put too much force back there. So, how does this thing work? Well, it's pretty simple. What happens is that these two connectors connect, and all of the materials that are being stored in the large cargo container that's right about there get pulled back into the refineries in the main building. Okay? From there, I can then disconnect these and tell these motors to start pushing forward, which I'm going to do right now. So let's open this thing up. Oh, not what I wanted. Let's go to Control Panel, Motors, reverse them, and let's drop it down to a little over, let's say that. Let's turn it on. As you can see, it's starting to slide forward. It's starting to bounce because of the drill heads on the front there. What we should see is that eventually it's going to make contact with the rock face. When it does that, it'll be running, and you got to be careful when you're moving in front of this thing when it's turned on, by the way, because it will kill you. It will try and kill you. There is nothing about that that's, weird or strange. Alright, so we have all this stuff coming back here. This is mostly just to hold everything in place, and this stuff I'm actually in the process of ripping out. Like, we don't need this gravity generator anymore. So we can just rip this out, which will actually significantly decrease the amount of energy that this primary platform is pulling right now. Now, the one downside to this design is that it does pull quite a bit of just rock, right? Which is, the rock is basically useless, okay? You guys know that, I know that. The rock that this thing can store, that is pulled in, basically useless. I'm never going to need that much, quite that much gravel. Oh, I forgot to change my settings. Oops, alright. I'll have to change that in a couple minutes, because that's going to require a restart. Alright, so, what's up with the rest of this building? Well, not too much. This is a little hangar for any other mining ships I have. You can see primary storage running down through here. This will be closed up eventually. We have our primary gravity generator. Out through this door, things get a little weird. Oh, right, I fixed that. You have our gyros that control the main structure, and you have access to the underside of these things. And they've stopped spinning. Okay, that means... Yeah, okay, fine. I'm gonna have to... Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull this thing back and restart it completely. But that's not a big deal. Alright, so let's just come back to here. Control panel, motors, reverse. We could have that at a pretty high RPM setting when they reverse. And actually, this is a good opportunity to show you guys something. So let's go into K. Control panel. We're looking for platform drill dock. Turn that on. And you guys should see this should start to connect in just a couple seconds here. You'll see the magnetic force kick on anytime now. Alright, magnetic force is applying. And then we're just going to come up to here. Control panel, motors off. Connector drill dock, lock. You hear the drill stutters, right? You can come down to here. For some reason, it did something a little weird today when it did this. Oops. We shut all our drills down. Now, we should also be able to see happening in here somewhere is our refineries are pulling in materials. Right now, the refinery's pulling in... Refinery 2 is pulling in magnesium. 1 is pulling in stone, which I wish I could stop it from pulling in the stone, but there's no good way to filter this stuff, basically. So we're just going to have to wait now. We can see all the materials we've gathered down here. Look at that number right there. 209,000 iron. Alright, and this thing didn't run for that long. This did not run for very long at all. If I turn my headlight back on here, yeah, you can see these little bits are still left, which is kind of irritating to me. Just, there's no good way to get rid of the damn things, basically. Unless I took one of my mining ships forward here and just... Yeah, I could do that, I guess. So you can see the locking gear. I only had one of them engaged for this, which is fine. It works perfectly fine to hold this thing in place. And this was actually just to keep the drill head in one place while I worked on it. So I can yank that off. But yes, this is the mining platform. This sucker took me about my entire vacation, I was working on this almost every night. Okay? And I finally have gotten it working. I mean, it was a monumental pain in the rear end. Like, I at least twice almost said, that's it, I'm done. I'm calling this just a failure and I'm not finishing it. Like, there were a couple moments where I was just like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Okay, that. Oh, I lost my reverse thruster somewhere, didn't I? Oh gosh, that could have done some major damage. A. Stop that. Did I do major damage? I don't think I did. I think I was still fine. Yeah, this thing had a bit of an accident. I was using merge blocks while I was working on this thing, and they caused some minor issues, let's say. Let's call them minor issues. That's probably the best way of saying it. You can actually see some of the damage up here. Okay. But we've done a lot on this drill, and it's actually working now, which I am so thrilled about, I cannot tell you. Alright? It's not completely automatic, mostly because of that issue with the drills and not mining through things, and the thing kind of being a bit of a pain in the rear end on occasion. But honestly, it's not as bad as it could be. Basically, all you have to do is back the drill up, take maybe one of these little mining ships out and around, and just take care of it that way. So let's just do that. Let's open up our control panel. Let's look at our landing gear. We'll set them onto auto lock mode. Which, by the way, auto lock mode makes landing ships like this wicked easy. Alright, so let's sink her down. Let's sink her down so we slip underneath that thing. Bring her in. We'll tilt her up a little bit. And let's park her like we're living in Boston. Landing gear's locked, lights off, reactors off. No need wasting power when we don't have to. Beautiful. Nice and successfully landed. And I can also put another couple other mining ships in here and do all sorts of fun stuff. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to remove this entire section. This entire thing is useless now. Alright, there's no point to it. I don't need it. I don't care about it. I'm going to have to do that without merge blocking it now that that ship's docked. So what had happened was that that little ship was docked in there when I tried to connect this whole thing to a merge block. And because I was actually originally locking this drill with a merge block where that connector is. These two connectors, I was using a merge block there. And yeah, it didn't really work. Well, it worked, but it caused that ship to snap free and bounce around, and a bunch of damage was done to it, not only the station, just it. So that was less than pleasant, and I was less than amused by that whole adventure. Anything over here? Anything? Any bits or pieces left? No. So sometimes you get those bits or pieces, but really all you should have to do is just back the drill up, or get into that second cockpit and engage the right-click mode. So that's not too bad. As to the name, Anara Support Vessel, Big Bertha. Cheers to the guy who suggested that. If I look up, let me hunt that down, actually. It's not in there. It should be in social. Nope. Let me find that, because it was actually a viewer suggestion that I set it up, that I called it what I did. Of course, YouTube's taking flipping forever to load today, but that's fine. Whatever. Okay, YouTube. I'm trying to patch Star Trek Online in the background, and that is one of the slowest games to patch that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, seriously, guys, it's like 6 hours later, and I'm still waiting on for the damn thing to patch. Not that bad, but the actual installer completed in a couple seconds. I mean, it was like, wow, that was quick. But I think it was lying, and it wasn't really finished, and now it's just taking forever. All right, so let me come back. I need to modify some settings, set some things back to actually be working at the rate they should be working. And I'll be back with you guys once I've done that, and hopefully I'll either be tearing that thing apart and probably talking about what we're going to be doing next. All right, guys, see you in a minute. And we're back, guys. All right, so you guys might be curious as to how I disassemble things without having bits and pieces flying essentially all over the map. Right. Excuse me as you hear me chewing. I'm eating. All right, so let's get 16 of these and some motors. What we're going to do is we're going to use merge blocks. All right. Now, merge blocks, one of the reasons they're so awesome is that merge blocks, and that's not going to be close enough. So let's do new station. And I want it to be right... Oh, God, not this bug again. Okay. New station. Can I wedge it in there? No. So what we're going to be doing, new station, and before I start, let me cut this off. Because this is going to wrench this thing around a little bit, and I just don't want any of this to really be in the way. And let me, while I'm at it, come over to here. Again, I just don't want to break anything while I'm doing this. Control panel. Let's go to connector platform dock. Connector drill dock off. Alright. Are you still locked on? Yeah, so I'm going to do this from inside. Well, this should be fun if I don't do it. We'll see. We will see. We'll see indeed. Alright, so let's go into new station mode again. Let's put it right over... That's going to be too close. Right there, maybe. And now, let's put down our merge block. And I'm going to try and finish this and not be in its way. Alright, it's a little bit too far away. And I don't want to do this with the ship docked to it, because it's not going to be pretty if I do. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and do this. If it goes wrong, you'll see why I had to reload a previous save. So, let's go to control panel. Let's go to landing gear, auto lock on. I want you guys to break connection there. Alright? And you guys might get to see why I'm saying that. Alright, so let's spin you around. We're locked. Alright. Here we go. Let's turn our inertials off. Dampers off. We're going to thrust up and thrust over. Alright, we lost... I think we just lost a landing gear. Looks like we lost a couple two thrusters and a landing gear and a conveyor. That's not the end of the world. That's much better than it was the last time this happened. The last time this happened, I lost the entire ship. Interior plates, construction components, yeah, whatever. Interior plates, let's take like 100 of you. Let's get like 50 construction components out of there. Whatever. Let's fix this back up, because Nick might be a little irritated if he comes back on a broken half of his ship. Alright. However, because I think this one was one he built. Oh, we're out of large steel tubes, aren't we? That's fun. No, we're not. We're not. Oh, I have those, so I just need, what, like 2 more of these? Let's see... Small thrusters. pull the color off. There we go. All better. All better. All better. Hold on. Shift P. Shift P. No. Alright, we'll fix that later. Anyways, what's happened now is that because this has been connected to a merge block, it's a station merge block, the entire thing is now a station. So what I can do is I can just go to town on this thing now. Right? I don't have to worry about anything. Breaking, disconnecting, flying away into space. Well, it'll break and disconnect, but it's not just going to fly away into space on me. Which is good, because this means I can recover a lot of these materials that I don't need anymore. At the minor cost of reducing this thing's total weight. But let's just make sure we didn't suffer any damage back here. It doesn't look like we did. Doesn't look like we damaged our station either. So I want to make sure it didn't snap it right off its landing gear. Nope, nope, it's still on there. Okay. You just want to make sure of these things when you're working in space. Wait, am I still on my landing gear? Yes, yes you are. Don't worry, Cass. Okay, so this stuff is now basically all redundant. Every single ounce of this is redundant now. And you guys can see my increase in weld speed also affects my deconstruction speed, which some of you might think is a little cheaty. I prefer to think of it as better for producing interesting videos. So just remember, in reality, this will be about 4 times slower than what you're seeing right now. All right, just keep that in mind. You know, it's about 4 times slower unless you go in and there are some tools you can use to edit the weld and break speed. So see what just happened there? That was completely disconnected, and it didn't go flying away. That's just because of the modifications I just did to the game engine. Not the game engine, but I did to the station, turning it into a station instead of leaving it as a large ship. And ASV Big Bertha is, in fact, a large ship. Alright, it is a large ship. It isn't stuck there. I can move it. You saw the engines on it. And it works pretty darn well at what I want it to do. So yeah, this world save is probably going to go up at the end of this episode. So you guys can actually see what it is that I've been doing, how it actually works, and sort of the nitty-gritty details of a mining platform like this. As far as I'm aware, this is the first platform that I've seen that works in this way, using the using a motor piston instead of a ship landing gear / connector, or a landing gear piston. The advantage to this design and the kind of rail system I used is that you don't need any sort of rotation pistons like the standard, more throw shaft piston designs that you've seen other people use for doors and whatever. You don't need that on this design. It makes it a lot cleaner, a lot simpler to use, and just a lot easier in general. And I have to thank the devs for actually introducing connectors when they did, and working connector conveyor systems, because that made this design monumentally simpler. I'd actually just been getting to the point where I was like, oh, this is going to suck. Because the gravity generation would have been... It was not something I wanted to have to worry about with this design, and it was something that I was starting to really have to think about, and not having to deal with it has really freed me up in a lot of ways. Namely, I don't need to have this entire gantry structure coming out the back of my ship. So we can just... If I actually sink down a little bit, I can get all my multiple drills focused on it simultaneously. And this also makes landing ops a little bit easier on the back end as well. So there we go. That's just going to be a back door leading out of the ship now. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So let's back this thing up a little bit. Disconnect him. And let's start this guy up again. Which allows me to show you kind of the slightly irritating undocking procedures you have to go through with this thing. Let's throw it up to here. Let's open this up. Now, my landing gear are turned off. If I open this up and I open up landing gear, you can see they're all set to off, which prevents my P key from actually controlling them. I've now turned off my connectors. If I open this up, okay, that connector is off, that connector is off, that connector is off, okay? Which means I'm not directly controlling them. But if I hit P now, it turns off those connectors. And then what I can do is I can go onto my motors and turn them on. You can see the drill head is starting to move. Normally, I would also have turned on the actual drill system, but I derped. That was a me derp. I apologize, guys. That was totally my fault. I now have to go running out before it actually hits anything and turn the drills back on. So let's get out here. Come on. There we go. Drill. And the reason I'm not resetting these as an action group is actually because it's kind of a pain in the rear end to do that. So this is just going to eat its way forward into that asteroid. And hopefully this time it'll actually decide to make contact. Ah, that's a nice vantage point right here. Hopefully I got rid of all the little bits and pieces that were in front of it that were preventing it. So you can see the drills bouncing a little bit. That's kind of normal, to be honest with you guys. Like, I've come to kind of expect that with this design. You know, you really can't have a drill this big and operating like this that doesn't have... So it should start. There we go. Look at that. And it's just drilling its way forward. And this actually seems to be like a pretty good speed for it. I don't think it's damaging anything backwards here. I apologize for the frames now, by the way. Because I know that I'm dropping frames like crazy, but not much I can do about that with this many drills running simultaneously. I'm down to like 18 frames per second now, by the way. And it's working fine. Look at that thing go. Look at that thing go. I'm not certain what it's drilling into right now. Stone, iron... It's picking up some more uranium too, which is a good thing. I always need more uranium. I wish there was a way to sort, because then I'd just be able to throw out most of this uranium I'm picking up. I also don't know what that clicking sound is. I wish I did, but... So you can see there's some uranium up here that it's drilling into. Right over there, probably. And there's some iron down further below it that's drilling into. And that thing is working nice. It's bouncing a little bit. It usually bounces when it can't drill any further than it is. But it's working pretty darn well, if I do say so myself. Nice. Very nice indeed. Alright, so that's the drill. I get jammed again. No, it's still going, I guess. It's still going. A little bit slower, but it's still running its way along there. Let me actually do this. One thing you can also do if it gets stuck, by the way, is you can go to your control panel, turn your motors off for a minute. By the way, the solution to those bits, by the way, would be to increase the number of drills in the system, but it's not something I really want to do. If you come out of here, right, and you open this up again, we're just going to turn all of our drills off. Nah, this wouldn't really work. You're going to waste a lot of resources if you do this. You can just hop in there and turn on your jets, but not jets, but your whatever. Your whatevers. Yes, you can turn on your whatevers. You can just hop in there and hit the right-click mode on the drills. It just clears terrain. It works a little bit better. So what you can now do is I can go reverse them, turn them on, and just kind of slide them back and forth, slide the entire drill assembly back and forward a little bit. And this actual vibration should remove any bits and pieces that have gotten caught. Alright? It should. It doesn't always, but it's a little bit helpful sometimes to do it that way. Oh, I never noticed that thing actually spun there. That's cool. So you can see she's pulling back. She's mining a few more bits as she's coming back out. And of course the platform is being kept steady by that landing gear. And yeah, you only need one landing gear on this entire thing. I'm not seeing any bits that got stuck yet. There's one. There's an offender. There's an offender. So it's little bits like this. They're not very common. I don't think they happen in the exact same place every time, but they're just kind of a pain in the rear end you have to deal with. Over time, you know, you'll get them if you slide this thing back and forth enough. So if I open this one, off, reverse, turn them back on, we should see that that little bit does eventually get eaten by our drill head. Of course, now I can't even find the damn thing. It's up towards this row up here. Ah, yeah, there it is. Right there. Oh, did I get it? I got it. Okay. Let's get out of the drill's way before it tries to eat me, which is always a possibility with this thing. Now, you can also, if you slow down your motors, and I just want to wait until this thing actually makes contact. Or is close to making contact at the very least. Let's drop down here a little bit. And you can see I'm still lighting this place up too. Let's run back up to here. And hop back in our command chair there. Let's open this up. Let's go to motors, turn them off. And it does help a little bit to reduce your actual speed on these. Just gives it more time to break those bits up. And in this case, actually, the drill wobble effect actually helps. I suspect what's happening is that the drills aren't quite as wide an area as we think they are. And I apologize if, by the way, I'm shouting over the drill sounds, but that's kind of what I have to do here. So you can see the drills are eating into that asteroid quite nicely right now. There we go. That is ASV Big Bertha. Yeah, she works. She's functional. She's friggin' terrifying. The easiest way to check if she's moving forward, by the way, at these low speeds, is to come over to here and check the wheels. Because you should be able to watch the wheels rotate a little bit. Yeah, see how they're rotating there? Very slowly, but she is going. She is going quite successfully. And the advantage of taking that thing off the back is that I can actually extend this guy out as far back as I need to. It doesn't matter how far back I go, I don't have anything back there to stop it with. That's going to stop it from going further back. Okay, so I'm going to come back a little bit once I've let Big Bertha mine for a while. I thought that was my mining ship. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh crap. Actually, let's let Big Bertha go. Let's come back, see if she gets stuck again, or if, you know, dropping that speed down help a little bit. Hopefully it just doesn't break her. Actually, let's save this. I will admit that I've been save scumming a little bit, but that's quite alright. Wait, is that the new... No. I keep checking, because today is Thursday, so I keep looking to see if that's the new patch note. I'm like, nope, still no patch note. Now we've gotten a little bit out of her render distance. She's stopped tearing out. So you can see I did capture a military transporter. I've been pulling her apart. I did the same thing to her that I did to everything else. We should stop moving up in a couple seconds here. And I've just been coming through and shredding her, basically. That's basically what I've been doing. Just pulling her apart for raw materials. Like so. And it works pretty well. How did I catch her? That's a good question. Trial and error. Bit of trial and error, a bit of luck. Basically, I managed to knock out... Let me show you. So, the weak point of this ship is either the rear, right, or one of the sides, okay? And I managed to knock out this side, all the weapon systems on this side, which you can't see the battle damage anymore because I kind of removed most of the side paneling. But she was pretty torn up over there. Oh, God, I didn't want to do that. We all still intact over here? Yeah. Okay, good. She was pretty torn up on that side, just from battle damage. And basically, after I'd finished tearing that apart, knocking that apart, I was able to get a hole into the ship. And after that, it's a piece of cake. You know, the first control panel you find, you can just turn off all the interior turrets. And then from there, it was just, I mean, it was child's play. You know, once you shut down the interior defenses of one of these ships, they're wicked easy to take over. And I know where all of the booby traps are, so that wasn't a big issue. Hint, it's in the main cargo hold. So yeah. All right, let me come back in a few minutes. Well, I have some more stuff to show you. Okay, so what else did we do? Well, you can see I have ACV Titan over here. She's still as half complete as she was the last time I was working on her. Same with the cargo bay. You can see we still have our pier over here, which is nice. Honestly, I spent most of the week just working on that ship. I don't know if this was here. Now with the completed connector system, I have 2 connectors set up. One leads down to the disconnected disassembler, which is constantly in disassembling mode. Alright, it pulls everything in that's dumped into that cargo container and it just goes. This one's connected to the main system. So that's the difference there, basics there. We're actually going to be changing up the docking areas for the large ships in a little while. I just, you know, I've been putting it off. If I have some time this episode, I'll probably get to it, but knowing me, I won't have time this episode. I'm still going to be tearing apart this military transporter because delicious, delicious steel plates. That's really the reason I actually went after her instead of anything else, were the steel plates. Because I was wicked low on them building that ship, and yeah. Yeah. We have actually started to use materials now, by the way. Motors are... I'm kind of low on motors, I'm low on a couple other things. So I have actually started to assemble things, rather than just tearing apart ships. I have, right now, if you notice, random cargo ships is turned off. And the reason for that is I was playing on my laptop, and enough ships were getting added that it was actually causing some performance issues on my older laptop. But I will turn them back on eventually. For right now, I'm just enjoying not having the sheer amount of clutter that those small ships cause. And, you know, I've gotten good enough at it that it kind of feels a little cheaty. So we'll see. I may turn them back on if you guys want to see them. And if you guys want to see an epic battle against a military transporter, certainly we can arrange that. I have that, you know. But I'm going to have to build a new military ship before I do that, because I was using that little escort vessel that Nick and I built, or that I built with Nick, and it's just not... To kill things with it, you have to be gamey, right? You have to, like, exploit the behavior of the cargo ships, get up wicked close to them, you know, pick off certain points in their armor to hit. You kind of have to be gamey about it, and I don't like that. I want to build a ship that can stand on its own. And part of that was that I wanted to just build that as kind of an up-armored, you know, escape pod, maintain the general shape. But I think the next time I build something, I'm going to change up the shape a little bit and put some more armor on it. So that'll probably be happening in the next episode. That or something else I want to do. We'll see. We may be actually working on the ship bays next episode. So we'll see about that. So let me come back in a couple minutes once I figured out what I want to work on for the rest of this episode, if I even have time to work on anything. Be right back, guys. As it turns out, guys, this being Space Engineers, I'm wicked over time. So, I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been Mr. Kassarian. If you enjoyed this somewhat catchy-uppy episode, please, please, please give me a like, comment, subscription. I'm going to go hunt down whoever suggested Big Bertha as the name for that ship and give them an internet cookie, because internet cookies. A hint, internet cookies are linked to a cookie clicker. Yeah. So, this has been Mr. Kassarian. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, happy mining.